All right, as I mentioned, I had a chance last week to catch up with BYU wide receivers coach Fesi Sitake. He's got a lot of guys in that room who have proven a lot in their time at BYU. I am particularly excited for Darius Lassiter. I continue to hear rave reviews for him throughout training camp and continue to hear that seemingly every day I talk to people in and around the BYU football program, but he's not alone. BYU returns all 6 or the top 6 pass catchers from a year ago. And if you want to make it 7, you can do that because Keanu Hill, who is now a tight end for BYU, well, he was obviously in that mix a year ago himself. The good news is there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of talent returning, and whoever ends up as BYU's QB1 will have a lot of guys to get the ball to in this offense. Well, what does Fesi Sitake make of his guys? What does he think of the guys, and what's his kind of thought process on each one of these guys as they prove themselves throughout training camp? We'll let you hear from him right now, right here on Locked On Cougars.
Do you like training camp?
Yes, I love it. If I keep my mind off the season, I love it. I've enjoyed to really love it just because you get an evaluation in a way that you're not able to get a lot. You know, you can get a good evaluation in spring, but you still have so much time until the season starts. Here it's just right on the edge. And so to be able to look through that lens and say, you know, what plays are we good at? Who are the players that are ready? I've really enjoyed fall camp.
I've done 4 or 5 interviews with different media people over the summer from different markets, and when they talk about BYU, they talk about the wide receiving corps, because they see you have your top 6 pass catchers returning, and that's not including Keanu, who moved over to tight end. And they talk about that maybe being the deepest position on this roster. Would you agree with that assessment?
I'll leave it to people who they think the deepest is. I'll just say that in my time here, I haven't been able to have this kind of depth myself, to draw on this many people. So it's been a blessing to be able to coach these guys, have them stay healthy, and we'll see how it all plays out for the season.
I wanted to ask you about Keanu moving to tight end. I know you're not coaching him anymore.
Yeah.
We talked to Aaron, I think, a couple of weeks back, right at the start of camp. He said, in retrospect, you would have made that move earlier had you known how he fit there. What's been your assessment of him moving over?
Yeah, it's been a seamless transition. I mean, he some people maybe wondered how much weight he could actually gain, and there was a point where he gained too much,
Okay.
and obviously he's able to trim right back down. The nice thing is that receiver, in our offense, they have to memorize everything. We don't play a left-right slot wide out, so you have to understand things conceptually. And I think that really was beneficial for Keanu, even with him not knowing he was going to move to tight end, because now I think he's been able to latch onto that playbook and has made this move a lot easier. And so I've been really happy with how he's been playing. I know Coach Gilbride, it seems like he's been really happy with him. I'm excited to see what he does for us this fall.
When I've talked to your wide receivers, they've talked about having to be versatile and be able to play every position. Is that by design?
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to be handcuffed. When a guy goes down, sometimes the second best X receiver, the second best Z, isn't truly the next best receiver or gives you the best chance to win. And so that is by design, to make sure they all know the plays, and then it leaves it up to me to put them where I feel they need to be in any given play.
I wanted to ask you about Darius in particular. There was a point that he was wondering if he's going to get his eligibility back, but what's it been like to actually have him here for one more year?
It's been great, man. He's taken a huge jump in leadership. He's had arguably the best fall camp so far. I'm excited for him. He's got a super bright future. He's on a great trajectory. Really glad he's back with us, and I'm so happy to be able to coach him.
I like to talk to Chase and Kody, because they seem like tied at the hip, because they came in together, had injuries together, now they've kind of grown up in the system together. What do you make of those two as they go into this year?
They both have the option to play another year or to go on, and obviously there's some variables in there, and so regardless of what next year is going to look like, those two are definitely attacking this year as if it was their last. And that's been the message to everyone. You have to attack every year like it's your last. It's hard for a freshman to latch onto that, but Chase and Kody being near the end, they've really grasped that, and the way they work out, the way they practice, the way they're leading. I've been really happy with those two and the way they've kind of taken the group and try to lead to the best of their ability.
All right, I play the college football video game, and Parker Kingston is just a cheat code in that game. Do you believe he can be as big of a cheat code in real life as he is in that video game?
I hope so, man. If he can show 90, whatever speed that is on the field and make plays and score the way you use him, then bring it on, man. I'm going to go find the maker of NCAA and just tell them to do it to all the receivers. That's the way it is.
Okay, fair enough. I also want to ask about Jojo Phillips. I think he's kind of the guy everyone kind of wants to see how he develops here. He's got elite size, 6'5", and he shows the ball skills. I've seen it in practice in the short windows we see.
Yeah.
What do you make of him as he goes into another year here?
Well, first, he's made a huge transformation physically.
Okay.
There's a before and after picture I just saw of him a week ago with this shirt off, and it was just like, he looks like a whole different specimen now. And so another year in the playbook. He's very comfortable with the playbook now. I think Cougar fans are going to be really excited for what Jojo can do. The future is so bright for him, and that's just not future down the road. I think that could be this year as well. Time will tell exactly what he's going to do and how we're going to use him. But, man, that guy's a special player, and I'm glad he's on our team.
I also wanted to ask you about two of your return missionaries, Dominique McKenzie, Cody Hagen. I remember watching them in high school. I watched them run that 100-meter final in the state track meets and everything, and two burners out there. What are the realistic expectations you think you can get out of them this fall as they come off of a mission?
The biggest thing is off a mission, most return missionaries need a full year to get a real fair evaluation. I will say Cody, Dom had an advantage in that he came home and was able to do winter conditioning and spring ball with us. Okay. Cody coming home in the summer, it looked like he trained with us as well all spring. He looks really good physically. Both those two, it's just going to be a matter of can they stay healthy. They could put on the right mass and look the part, but maybe their soft tissue muscles aren't as built as they should be. So we'll see. The plan is to kind of just utilize their speed, put them where we can, and if there's a spot for them where we can use them, then I won't hold back on that. And then there's going to be a point in the season where you have to make a conscious decision of, are we going to preserve their redshirt year, play them in 4 games? Are we going to play them a lot more? And obviously that's to be determined.
You've recruited a lot of speed at this position. I even talk about Ty West coming in from Crimson Cliffs. He was a track star in high school. Is that by design?
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things you can't coach. Anytime I can find something you can't coach, I'm not trying to make my job easy, but I can't coach size. I can't coach, huge hands. I can't coach speed. Yeah. And so if I could find those guys who have some of those just God-given, traits, then it's on me to really coach them at the receiver position. Try and get them dialed in on the playbook, and that's what I enjoy doing. It's why I coach.
Now, you also carry the passing game coordinator title. What is your confidence level this passing game just overall will be better this year in the Big 12?
I think I feel great right now. We've got a good thing going on in terms of O-line, our system, what we're doing philosophically as an offense, the way we're marrying things together. We've got playmakers in place who have the playbook much more under their belt, and obviously as this quarterback deal works itself out, no matter who it is, I'm confident in the product we'll be able to put out on the field. Being able to have a great run game is the complement to having a great passing game, and I'm really excited for what our O-line and running backs will do, and tight ends involved, and Coach Woods has done a great job, Coach Gilbride. So that's part of the excitement, is that I think everything is all kind of coming together, and we'll see how it all looks this fall.
There you have it, Fesi Sitake, a guy who loves training camp because he keeps his mind off of the season. Now, that was kind of his first answer there, but you heard him talk about guys like Darius Lassiter, Chase Roberts, Kody Epps. He's got a lot of talent there, and I really appreciate what Fesi talks about. He doesn't necessarily blow smoke up everybody's but he's also a realist in understanding, okay, I've got some talent here, and we're going to go out there, and that talent's got to shine through. And if these wide receivers are everything they're cracked up to be, and I've got no reason to think that they aren't at this point, because everything I have seen / what I have heard about BYU training camp is Darius Lassiter seems to be the lead guy for BYU at wide receiver, but that doesn't mean that Kody Epps, Chase Roberts, Jojo Phillips, Parker Kingston, oh man, just down the list, every one of these guys, Keelan Marion, I forgot to mention him, all of them have a major opportunity to contribute this season, and that's discounting the fact that you've got a 4-star prospect in Cody Hagen coming home off of a mission. You've got guys like Dominique McKenzie and Tei Nacua who are waiting in the wings as well. Fesi Sitake has got to feel very, very good about where his position group stands right now, but obviously it doesn't mean anything if you're not winning football games, and I think that's kind of the overarching sentiment coming from across this program. They don't like the fact that they were a losing program a year ago. They want to get back to the postseason. It's going to take everybody pulling their weight. Wide receivers obviously have to do their part, catch the passes that are coming their way, block out there on the perimeter to allow the running backs to get into the second level. All of it goes towards winning football, and that's ultimately the goal for the BYU football program. So appreciate Fesi taking the time. Always thank him for coming on the podcast and chatting with us, and it's always fun to get his insight on this. And I'll just tell you guys this much. He continues to be one of the best golfers, if not the best golfer overall, even players included in the BYU football program. So that's kind of a fun tidbit as well there.